Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a Monday, doing a weekend wrap-up of sports with Jason Cameron, of course. Today is Truth and Reconciliation Day. Our thoughts and hopes that everything can be reconciled one day and we can move forward as one, as a country, and good that it's being recognized today, and we're getting a chance to hopefully mend the fences.
Yeah, that's going to take time. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time, but it's a step in the right direction.
One of the good initiatives is the orange shirt wearing, and Hellas was able to put together a program and give away 10,000 orange Indigenous shirts at the BC Lions game on Saturday night, and it was great to see everybody in the crowd wearing their orange shirts. A friend of mine put that initiative together and was very proud to see it come together and see everybody wearing these special shirts with a BC Lions logo with an Indigenous artistry to it. It was pretty cool to see, and she was very proud of handling this initiative.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Just getting the word out, that's the most important thing, right? Actually, when I was at the Kevin Hart comedy show, there was some Indigenous people there that were selling the orange shirts and stuff. Promoting the cause, so that was pretty cool too as well to see.
Great, no, that's good. Speaking of the BC Lions, they wrapped up a playoff spot already. Got a big 33-26 victory over Saskatchewan on Saturday. They're 11-4 with 3 games left, tied with Winnipeg at the top of the West. Really good year coming together after losing Nathan Rourke. I think a lot of people wondered if this team could be good, and Vernon Adams has taken this team and give them the tied for the second best record in the whole league, and they're flying. I think they're gonna have a very, very successful year. I heard it's been good for attendance, good for community involvement, and on the standings, it's been a terrific year all around.
Yeah, it's incredible, because you'd think we'd have a down year since we lost such a magnificent talent in Rourke, but luckily that didn't happen. So the Lions should be very proud of what they've accomplished thus far this season.
Yeah, I'm happy. Vernon Adams' numbers were unbelievable. 27 for 36, 458 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. His favorite receiver was Keon Hatcher, who had 10 catches, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Alexander Hollins had a couple touchdown grabs, 3 catches, 83 yards with 2 touchdowns, and Dominic Grimes had 4 catches for 79 yards. So great offense there. They gave up a lot of yardage to Saskatchewan, and it was a lot closer than a lot of people expected. But they're playing well. Going great, and they have a big first place battle against Winnipeg coming up this Friday, BC Place. Both teams are 11-4, and probably whoever wins this game will be getting first place and getting a bye in the first playoff round.
Well, fingers crossed that they hopefully they can get past them and get the bye, because that'll be very important to their playoff success for sure.
Yeah, and give them a home playoff date as well, which always brings in a ton of money and could possibly fill BC Place there as they head towards. Toronto's top in the country right now with a 12-2 record, but in the West, fantastic year, and I'm super happy. Great to see everything coming together and them having lots of success. We're doing this podcast a lot earlier today than typical, because I'm going to a concert tonight down at Rogers Arena, down right beside BC Place we were just talking about. Iron Maiden is back in town. They're big world tour is wrapping up this week. This is the second last concert on their tour. I think I've seen Iron Maiden maybe 20 times, and I always get really excited to see them. Very pumped to get a chance to go down to Rogers and see them on this latest tour. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast as always. A lot of fun. Great to see the rabid fans. Great to see the amazing T-shirts and seeing Eddie on stage, seeing the whole band. It's just always one of my favorite nights of the year.
Yeah, you know what? It's awesome that they're coming back to Vancouver and doing this thing, because I know that they probably don't have a lot of tours left in them, do they?
No, that's true. Yeah, they're long in the tooth. I mentioned it to my dad, and he said, "Man, those guys are still playing. Unbelievable. That's incredible." And it's got to be probably pretty much my entire life they've been touring. So, that's unbelievable. I think a lot of people didn't expect heavy metal guys that, were playing back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s to still be touring and still be at it. But yeah, they obviously have a lot of longevity, a lot of great fans still. And yeah, it's nice to see them still at it, because yeah, this could be it. You never know.
Yeah, you never know, but it's awesome that they're still getting it done, still getting out there and entertaining the fans.
Yeah. I think the biggest news north of the border here in Canada, sports weekend wise, was that the Blue Jays made the playoffs for the second consecutive year. It was a very up and down year. I think a lot of fans wrote them off probably 30 times this year when they went on losing streaks, and then they would go on a winning streak and get back in there. And it was just nerve-wracking all year, up and down, up and down, up and down. But they finally clinched it. Second last day of the regular season. Seattle Mariners ended up losing out and didn't make the playoffs, finished one game out of the postseason. But the Blue Jays ended up doing themselves a favor by losing yesterday. They end up having a better matchup in the first round of the playoffs. They play the Minnesota Twins starting tomorrow afternoon. They actually won two more games than Minnesota in the regular season. Minnesota is probably one of the weakest teams that made the American League playoffs, and if the Jays can beat Minnesota, they actually have a better bracket as well. They don't have to face the Baltimore Orioles until the American League Championship Series. Baltimore was far and away the best team in the American League this year. So incredible. They actually lost exactly the proper amount of games that they needed to have the best bracket and best opportunity to go farther in this playoffs. After last year's 2 games and ouster by Seattle, I think a lot of fans are a lot more optimistic and hopeful for this year.
Oh yeah, obviously they're a lot more hopeful, and then they have realistic expectations because of the fact that now they get to face a weaker team in Minnesota. Yeah. So that will probably prove out well for the rest of their playoff run. So
yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait. First pitch goes 1:38 Pacific time tomorrow, 4:38 Eastern. They play those first 2 games Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a best of 3, so it could be over Wednesday. If not, then they play on Thursday as well. And the game would start 1 hour earlier if it's played on Thursday. Winner of that series goes on to face the Houston Astros. And they only finished 1 game above the Toronto Blue Jays in the regular season. Out of 162 games, 1 more game. So not that big of a deal. The other good thing that happened was clinching that 1 day early. Their ace, Kevin Gausman, can pitch that opening game. He will face Pablo Lopez, and they are 3-3 in the season series. So yeah, it should be a great series. I'm really looking forward to it. I think Canada's going to get behind this team, especially if they can get a win or two. I think we're going to start seeing Blue Jays mania. We're going to start seeing watch parties and a lot of jerseys and hats and things. And it's very fun in this country when one of our teams like that. I mentioned it last week. Either the Raptors go on a run, the Blue Jays go on a run. Canada just seems to embrace them and get behind them, and it becomes great to be around downtown when they're playing. There's usually a ton of more action, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like especially once they start winning,
Yeah,
then everybody is definitely going to embrace them. So fingers crossed. Hopefully they can get us some wins.
yeah. The other big thing that happened on Saturday was the big fight from T-Mobile Arena. Canelo Alvarez fought Jermell Charlo. Canelo, considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, a guy that's been fighting professionally since he was 15 years old, came into this match with a record of 59-2-2, and a lot of people didn't give Jermell Charlo much of a chance. He was moving up 2 weight classes, fought 12 pounds heavier than he had ever fought. He has had a very decorated career, an undisputed champion in his weight class, but moving up those 2 weight classes is very difficult. We saw Canelo try to do that against Dimitri Bivol and end up losing, and giving him one of his only 2 losses in his career, the other one to Floyd Mayweather. And we were hoping for a pretty great fight. 2 champions, 2 guys that are 2 of the world's best, but Charlo just didn't really seem to have it that night. Just didn't press the action. Just seemed second best the entire fight. I think he won 1 round, possibly 2 rounds, and it was a whitewash, unfortunately. But most people look that way against Canelo, one of the best ever.
Yeah, Canelo has a way of doing that to his opponent. But you're absolutely right. He just seemed to step slow that night, and it was definitely Canelo's night because I think Mexican Independence Day, right? That's the day that he.
No, it was the week before was Mexican Independence Day. Yeah.
But he usually fights around this time.
He does.
And Canelo, oh, you know what? He's not over the hill just yet. He's still got it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been saying that about him because you just don't see the same guy, and he's got generational wealth now, and the hunger seems to go away from fighters once they get that kind of money. He seemed to take this training camp more serious than I remember him in many years, and it seemed like he was really wanting to show the world that I still got it. Don't count me out. I'm still relevant. I'm only 33, and I can still beat the best you throw at me. So I think he was able to check that box and look that way. And well, it'd be interesting to see who fights next. He was saying that he wants to fight on Cinco de Mayo next, so May the 5th coming up in 2024. There's always a lot of speculation on who he will fight, and in boxing, it's hard to get the parties together, but I still think he's got a few years left in him.
Yeah, me too. I think he's still got a few years left. He's definitely a future Hall of Famer. His record is 60. This is the most ridiculous thing. 62-2. Yeah. Like, that's a lot of fights, man. That is a lot of fights. So I don't know how much longer he's going to do it for. No. But however long that is, I'm definitely looking forward to it and looking forward to being entertained.
Yeah. Charlo, no big shade on him, trying to come up in weight, fight one of the best ever. Him and his twin brother have had very decorated careers. Charlo ended up calling out Terrence Crawford next. Be careful what you wish for, but he said, I know, he's got to fight that idiot Spence again, but after that, I'd love to have him fight. I think Charlo better get himself a lot to be a lot better tuned up if he's going to try to fight Bud, but yeah, I guess a good call out because you're gonna make some money on a pay-per-view for that one.
Oh, he's going to make a ton of money on that one. And yes, he better have his AA plus game when he fights Crawford, if that does happen, because that guy's not any easier than Canelo. In fact, he's a harder matchup.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Sticking with the world of boxing, some videos came out over the weekend. First of all, Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury held their face-off, had a little bit of a press conference, hyping up their fight coming up here in October. I sure didn't like the looks of Tyson Fury, his body. Did you see the face-off between them? Tyson Fury's body looked really not in good shape at all. He was paddling around his middle, is jiggling around with lots of weight on it. I mean, he's never had a ripped body, but he just did not look like he was in very good shape at all.
Yeah, it kind of is almost telling me how much importance he's putting on this fight, which is not a ton.
Yeah, it was too bad. Ngannou looks very, very good shape, but I saw they released a video of him with during an open workout. Mike Tyson was in the ring with him, and he was hitting pads and hitting the body. Man, he looked slow. Like he looked very, 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 very slow. It was disconcerting for me. I was very surprised. His punches seem to be fairly powerful, but very slow. And Tyson Fury's father released some videos on social media saying, like, is this for real? Like, this guy's gonna get murdered if he's that slow and he's that bad. Like, this has to be a joke. Maybe they were trying to fool us or something, but there's been some war of words back and forth. I wasn't impressed with it. I don't know why it looked so bad, and I hope it was just he was just trying to warm up or not trying to show much of his hand yet, because it sure didn't look like a guy that's competing for one of the baddest men on the planet crown.
Yeah, no, it looked horrible.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they intentionally did that, because it almost looked like it was intentional, because it's like, well, could he really be that bad? Because if he is that bad, oh man, it's gonna be a quick night at the office for Tyson. It's gonna be a quick night, man.
Yeah. On the heels of this, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk have announced that they have come to an agreement to put all 4 belts on the line. This will be the first time in the 4-belt era that the heavyweight championship will be completely unified and have an undisputed champion. Fury is undefeated in 34 fights and Usyk undefeated in 21. I'm really, we've been talking about this for quite a few years now, I guess, and I'm glad it's finally coming together. I was kind of surprised that this announcement happened just before this Francis Ngannou fight, but it's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. Date and time has not been totally established yet, but Saudi Arabia money, and this could surpass anything we've ever seen pay-per-view wise, because I think people want this heavyweight fight to happen and want these guys to be undisputed champion, whoever wins.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your classic David versus Goliath, little guy versus very, very big guy. So it's a fascinating matchup, because you know that Usyk is going to have to be on his bike, and he absolutely cannot let Fury trap him against the ropes or in the corner, because if he does that, again, it's going to be a very short night for Usyk. Usyk knows this, and he's going to have to be on. He's going to have to be dancing around the ring like a lot, the entire
on his bike, as they say, and staying away from being on the ropes in the corners, anything like that. So sticking with the combat world, PFL held their card in France. They're on their European tour currently. They had a card in England, Germany, Ireland, and then now they were in France. They brought in a two-time Glory kickboxing champion, Cedric Diumbo, and I know that he was highly touted. UFC has been looking at possibly signing him after on the heels of some of the other kickboxers coming in and having success. He came in, he said, I'm going to knock this guy out immediately. It's not even going to be close. It was 9 seconds it lasted. Brutal KO. You got to see it online. It was amazing. He caught the kick from the guy's name is Jordan Zebo, and he caught the kick and then just landed a massive left, knocked the guy down, threw a few shots. Mark Goddard came in and stopped the fight 9 seconds in. It was very impressive, and I think the UFC will be disappointed that they weren't able to come to terms with him, because I think this guy's the real deal, and a big coup for the PFL getting him on their card.
I have a sneaking suspicion, this is just me speaking, but I think the UFC is going to be missing out on a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Going forward, because I think these guys know their self-worth. And I think the UFC always has a number that they think they're worth. PFL can outspend them now.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be a reoccurring thing. They're always, I think now going forward, the UFC is going to have a hard time trying to sign these upper echelon guys because of the way their contracts are structured and because of how much they want.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a max exodus of guys, on different promotions around the world. UFC has done a great job with this Contender Series, bringing in a lot of guys from other organizations on the regional circuits, but the money's just not there, and unless they step it up, a lot of guys are going to turn to this way, and the PFL is going to get stronger. They're still in negotiations, I understand, the PFL and Bellator, and that deal has not been finalized yet, and we'll see what comes together. Bellator is about to celebrate their 300th pay-per-view card coming up this weekend, and they talked to Scott Coker, the president, over the weekend, and they said, is this going to be your last event as Bellator? And he said, no, moving forward, we're excited about this event, and we'll see what comes down the pipe. But a lot of good fighters in the Bellator on the roster there, and I'm looking forward to this Bellator 300. I'm going to watch it and tune it in. Four belts on the line that night. It's at the Pechanga Arena in San Diego. It'll be shown on Showtime in the US. 4 title fights. So the main event is the lightweight title fight against Usman Nurmagomedov, and he faces Brent Primus. That's the semifinal of the lightweight tournament. Usman is Khabib's cousin, and one of the guys that apparently holds the belt. And this should be a great fight. Primus is coming in, 5-fight win streak, and that'll be a great main event. Co-main event, Chris Cyborg having her 5th title defense. She takes on Kat Zingano, both former UFC girls. That's the featherweight belt on the line. Super looking forward to that. Both fighters are 2 of the best women's fighters of all time.
Oh, yeah, by far and away, definitely. And that should be a heck of an entertaining fight between those two.
The heavyweight strap will be on the line. Ryan Darth Bader, he's been the champion there since 2019. He will be in a rematch against Linton Vassell. Vassal's on a 5-fight win streak since he lost to Bader back in 2017. Bader won that first match by TKO back then, but Vassal's been on a mission to try to avenge that loss and try to get the belt back on his waist.
Well, you know what? Rematches are always good, and I expect fireworks. It probably won't go the full fight.
No, I don't think so. And then the final belt on the line is the women's flyweight title, and it's Liz Carmouche defending against the former champ Lima Lefarlane. Liz Carmouche is famous for fighting against Ronda Rousey in the very first women's fight in UFC history. So Carmouche has the belt now, and she's defending it. And yeah, it should be an amazing event. I think they have 18 fights on the card, so it's going to be a very, very long and huge night. But 300 has been talked about a lot for UFC as it's coming nearer and near. Going to be somewhere in the spring this in 2024. But Bellator is about to hit 300 this Saturday, and I think it should go over really well. I think with 4 belts on the line, I think they're going to get a ton of pay-per-view numbers, and Showtime will do a good job, as they always do with combat sports.
Oh yeah, Showtime's going to do a great job. And then yeah, like you just said, with 4 belts on the line, yeah, that's going to draw a lot of viewership.
Yeah. So very excited here. Okay, I got a lot to cover, but let's talk about the Toronto Raptors arriving today for training camp here in Vancouver. Super excited that they're here in our city. Going to get a chance to see some big, tall guys walking around, hitting some clubs. We'll probably be able to go and get some chicken wings at some establishments and see some guys there hanging out. I hope we can go to the game that's Toronto against Sacramento this coming Sunday, 5 p.m. They're playing at Rogers Arena. The tickets are brutal and crappy, as always, as we mentioned last week. We're just seeing outrageous prices because the scalpers buy them up and then resell them. But hopefully we'll be able to be there, get some nice footage, and get to see the new look Raptors with a lot of changes to their roster. Always good to see Sacramento too. They've got quite this up and coming roster that they've sort of resembled the Golden State Warriors and trying to establish themselves as a legitimate team now. And yeah, it's going to be a great week here. We're going to get a ton of reports locally from Vancouver from Raptors.
Oh yeah, well it's just awesome that they're even here, like just to do their practice and then do a scrimmage with the Kings. So that's good. That pushes basketball forward in this country, especially here on the West Coast for us. Yeah. And if the tickets aren't too absurdly priced, then maybe we can go.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah. Sure hate trying to buy tickets these days. It's brutal. It's not fun at all. And yeah, well, hopefully we can get ourselves in there and don't have to break the bank on it. NBA news from the Raptors. They just made an announcement that their center, Christian Koloko, is out indefinitely with a respiratory illness. He's had the issues throughout their preseason training camp and summer league, and I'm not sure why it's dragging on so long. He was their second-round pick in 2022. He's supposed to be a guy that comes in and brings a lot of size and minutes to this team, but unfortunately he will not be there. The other news that came out today, I hadn't heard this actually, which was weird because supposedly a lawsuit was filed on August 22nd by the New York Knicks against the Toronto Raptors for stealing their team secrets, getting some type of prep book and a software link, and now they have all their scouting reports, all their plays, all their details on their organization, and they've decided to sue the coach Darko Rajakovic, their new Raptor, a scout that they brought in. Okay, I hope I don't butcher his name, but I probably will. Ketchukwu Azotam is his name. He was a New York Knick scout, and the Raptors, once Darko came in, they hired him over. The Knicks are alleging that soon as he came over from the Knicks, he started spreading out their entire playbook, all their scouting information, gave a link to many of the staff of the Raptors, and they started downloading all the information. And Masai Ujiri had to announce or talk about this today in the press conference, and it's interesting. He said he thinks it's the first time another team has sued another team in the NBA history, and it'll be weird to see what comes of this, and how it all shakes down.
That is just odd. You know what I mean? Because that happens anyways, regardless. There's like coaches change teams all the time, so there's always going to be something like that happening.
Yeah.
But what the Knicks are basically saying is that this has been actually so bad, so egregious, that he went in and he stole everything.
Yeah.
Basically what they're saying, he stole everything, which wow. Like, if that's actually true, obviously it'll be settled in the court of law, but if that's actually true, that's not good.
Yeah. Well, the reputation of the Toronto Raptors has been pretty impeccable. Supposedly this guy's reputation has been pretty impeccable, according to sources. And the New York Knicks really haven't. They've had a lot of, very shady practices, a lot of things that make you question what the hell's going on there. And so, when I'm sort of looking at it from a bird's eye view and I see the two organizations, most people would say Raptors have been, one of the highly regarded organizations in the NBA for many years, and Knicks not so much, one of the lowest regarded. So, take that for however you feel, but that's my sort of view of it from afar, just hearing it today.
Yeah, for sure. The Raptors actually have good ownership, and the Knicks have undoubtedly questionable ownership with James Dolan manning the ship there. So, yeah. But also too, like, what does this get for the Knicks, right? Like, is this like a shot at some of their other coaches saying, if you do this, expect this to happen to you? Yeah. No, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Some other things that came out the NBA today. It was media day. Did you see Jimmy Butler's hair?
No, I missed that.
Oh my God. Last year he showed up with very questionable hair choice, and this year it is even worse. It is just bizarre. It's one of the weirdest looking hairstyles I've ever seen personally. It's called emo, they say it is. I don't know if you can see it while we're sitting here, and maybe if you can pull it up somewhere, try to pull it up in front of you. But oh my goodness, like, I don't know who would have, if he suggested it or his hairdresser. I know you go to a specialized barber and somebody that knows how to handle your hair the way you like it, but this is bizarre. Can you pull it up? Is there any pictures you can see in front of you?
Well, I'm just trying to pull it up right now, but for me, as I've gotten older, it's my hairstyle is very, very, very simple, which is this. That's it. Like, I got to a certain age where I'm just like, all right, that's it. I'm not trying to go for anything flash or anything more. Like, I'm easy.
Yeah.
$30-$40 haircut, done. Now I think I'm looking at it now. Does he have long hair here?
Yeah. It's long in the front. It sweeps over the side of his face, and sort of other side is kind of slicked back, but long and bizarre. Like,
yeah. Does he have his, okay, like, I'm pulling up the picture right now. Is his hair, like, what is that? Is it dye? Is his hair
maybe like, it looks weird color, yeah, and it's just straightened, and it just it was just like bizarre. I thought I was pretty surprised and shocked at how his hair looked last year's media day, but he outdid did himself on this one, and I just don't think it's a good look. It's like just very weird. We keep seeing guys in the NBA try to up it fashion wise, and I've seen just some of the most ridiculous outfits coming walking in and out of arenas, but this has taken a hair to a new level. There have been some interesting hairstyles over the NBA's history, but this one, it's the most bizarre one I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's weird because it's almost like he looks like a rocker, like punk band sort of thing, where I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. It's a different one, man, but that's what Jimmy likes to do. He likes to do a little bit of shock and awe, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He guaranteed that they're going to make the finals. He said this haircut's going to take us all the way to the finals this year. So I guess that's what you need. Losing out on Dame Lillard, I think really, made him have to change his hairstyle to, see if he could step it up. We haven't talked about the big acquisition and big, huge trade yet. Tell me your thoughts about the huge move that was made, Dame Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks had to give up a lot, but they really wanted that offensive weapon in the backcourt, and they got their man.
Yeah, they got their man. Okay, number one, first, they won't be as good defensively, obviously, without Jrue Holiday. Yeah. But they'll be way better in the half-court set for their offense. And then the two-man action that you'll have running with Damian Lillard and Giannis, that's pretty much going to be almost unstoppable. What are you going to do with that? Literally, what are you going to do with that?
Amazing.
Not much.
Yeah. Offensively, they can probably outscore most of their problems. They're still going to have Brook Lopez, great defender. They're going to still have half decent defense, but offensively, pick your poison. Who are you going to go? Who are you going to guard? Who are you ever going to possibly double team? And to have such a presence in the front court and the back court, offensively during the regular season, I think they can outscore almost anybody.
Oh yeah, they can now, and they'd have to be front runners for getting to the NBA Finals now out of the East for sure, because you add a person of Damian Lillard's stature to that team. Yeah, you got something good going on there. But I would say definitely they are a better team adding Lillard to the Bucks.
So Boston ended up deciding that they wanted to match, had to try to, make a move to combat what Milwaukee's doing and a battle for the top of the East. What did you think of their acquisition of Jrue Holiday yesterday, bringing in him? Lost Malcolm Brogdon and Williams, but defensively, Jrue Holiday was able to really help Milwaukee get that championship, and one of the best defenders in the game. Very smart move, I think, for Boston.
I think it was a brilliant move. Because I think now with their perimeter play, they got to be one of the better defensive teams out there in the NBA right now by adding Jrue Holiday. So, very smart, savvy move by the Celtics. Unfortunately, though, they had to give up Williams in that trade. That kind of sucked, but overall, again, I think the Celtics have improved their team as well.
I think it's going to be a titanic battle between those two teams the entire season and in the playoffs. To me, they're the front runners to meet in the Eastern Conference Championship.
Yeah, I would say so too. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's going to be a great matchup, especially once they start going at it, because you got one guy that left the team and he has a lot to prove. And then you have Damian Lillard saying, this is finally my shot. This is my chance. I have literally 2 to 3 years to make this happen. And he's got to make it happen now.
Yeah. And, if Kristaps Porzingis can fit into the system and can stay healthy, they've got the unicorn there. They've got such a interior presence, as well as a guy that can shoot the outside shot and bring Lopez out of the paint if he wants to defend him. So a lot of very amazing moves from some of these top teams. I'm very excited as media days happening here. Preseason's just around the corner. We're gonna start seeing games this weekend. There's games coming up. Let's see. Thursday is the first preseason games. Dallas and Minnesota are playing 2 games in Abu Dhabi to start off the preseason schedule. So that'll be cool to see that start. As I said, first game for the Raptors goes this Sunday, October 8th, 5 o'clock at Rogers Arena. And lots of games coming up this weekend, preseason schedule. And we're less than a month away from seeing some regular season games. It's going to ramp up. Lots of cool things going on. A big absence that happened today. James Harden was not at Sixers Media Day and still seeking a trade. Really wants to get sent somewhere. Do you see a trade happening before the season starts?
Unless Daryl Morey gets what he wants for James Harden, no, I don't see it happening. Now, the bigger question would be, does he even show up to go to work?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if he will decide to just not show up. I honestly don't know. I don't know. And if he does show up to work, what shape is he going to look like?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do, but I do know this. He does have the capability to blow that team up if he wants to be a cancerous spot in the locker room, and he can do that indefinitely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do.
We saw that with Ben Simmons, and we've seen that with Harden in many locations. So this is the distraction they don't need. He has said he will never play for Daryl Morey again. He's a liar, and made mention of that a couple of weeks back. So I don't see this ever having a resolution where he plays in Philly again. And you don't need the distraction. These other teams in the East, at the top of the East, have made some big moves, and you need to start figuring it out. So I would make the move as quick as you can. I don't know what the market for Harden would be out there, though.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, I think as time goes on and he keeps doing this over and over again, which is forcing his way out, his market is shrinking exponentially at a very, very fast rate. Because what team would want to take that guy on at this point in time? Like, if he's not happy with his situation, he's going to try to force his way out again, right? Like, you only have so many times that you can do this, where you can just force your way out. But after a while, teams are just going to be like, you know what? Forget it. I want to take the chance.
Yeah.
I want to take the chance.
One cool note I wanted to mention, Mr. Beast, one of the greatest guys online. He's got 350 million followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. They called it X now. He has partnered with the Charlotte Hornets, your team, and he will have a logo on their jersey for his Mr. Beast Feastables. This guy is one of the greatest philanthropists of our time, has given away hundreds of millions of dollars to people out there, and uses his platform to do good out there. And I'm glad to see an NBA team partnering with him. It'll be great to see it on the jersey. I hope it drives a ton of sales, and the money that he gets, he just seems to just funnel out to needy causes and people that need the money. Love this guy. If you don't know Mr. Beast, find him on social media. You should know him because he's one of the most well-known figures out there. But cool that an influencer on social media, YouTube, these kinds of platforms can make this kind of money and be able to be on a logo on a jersey in the NBA.
Yeah, which is amazing because but then again, that's the day and age that we live in now, that influencers now have the power to do these things.
Yeah.
That they can be a logo on an NBA team now. So good for him. good for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm sure it's going to be a very good business partnership.
One of the last things I want to mention about the weekend of sports before we get into the NFL talk is the Ryder Cup was held in Rome, Italy. And the Ryder Cup is the golf tournament that pits the Americans against the Europeans. It's been going, been 44 Ryder Cups in the history of golf. It is the greatest team event that they have in golf. It becomes very contentious. 50,000 fans a day showed up in Rome, not known for a golf country, but they really amped it up. They really roared and roared and roared for their European team and booed and really took it to the U.S. It was a very big battle. And then on Saturday night, it ended up in a big fight on the 18th green. Rory McIlroy ended up having a fight with one of the caddies for the American team, Patrick Cantlay's caddy, Joe LaCava, former caddy for Tiger Woods. Him got into a fight, huge altercation on the green, and it ended up spilling out into the parking lot after the match, and really ended up having to be Rory had to be separated, had to be shoved in an SUV and sent away back to his house. It was a crazy event that you don't normally see in golf, come into a big battle. It spurred from Patrick Cantlay had not worn a hat, and all PGA players, all golfers wear a baseball style hat with logos on it from their sponsors. He wasn't wearing the hat, and a story emerged that he was not happy that he wasn't getting paid any money for this appearance at the Ryder Cup, and he was taking it off in protest, didn't want to wear the cap. He says no, that's not the case. Not sure what's the real true story, but that story emerged, and the European fans started giving it to him. So they started taking their hats off and yelling, "Hats off to Patrick Cantlay's bank account," and they started just chanting that all through the entire day, and they just kept chanting hats off to his bank account. And it's really angered the U.S. team. It angered Cantlay. It angered a lot of the American supporters, and it just started a big groundswell. And Joe LaCava, the caddy, was waving his cap on the green, and he was in the way of Rory McIlroy's putt. And Rory was just like, "Hey, man, just get the heck out of my way so I can putt here." And then LaCava came back at him and started swearing at him, and they had a big exchange, and then he started swearing at the rest of his team, and it was just crazy. I don't remember ever seeing it in golf, but it's really amped it up for the final matches on Sunday. Europe took the Ryder Cup. US has not won the Ryder Cup on European soil since 1993. So somehow Europe, once they're home, they kicked the US's butt, and they did it again. They won by 5 points in this one, 16.5, 11.5. And this controversy was kind of fun. It actually amped it up a lot more. I think everybody expected Europe to take this quite handily. They had won 3 out of the first 4 sessions. And anyway, are you surprised to hear there was a fight in the golf?
Well, a little bit, because I think that's the first time in a long time, I should say, that a golfer and a caddy got into it, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then also, too, for Rory to lose his mind like that, I wonder what he actually said to him.
Yeah.
Because, there's certain things that if you say that, it's go time, right? True. There's certain things for every person, for every man, woman, whoever. If you say something, then it's like, all right, we're having it out right here, right now. Yeah. So I'm very curious to what was said. But at the same time, if that guy was so pissed off that he wasn't being compensated fairly, then why did he even show up?
True. Yeah. Guess that's a good point. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what exact reason why. There was a report that he said it just didn't fit, but I think you can modify it to make it fit. You could find a different one. I don't know, but it was just contentious the whole time. A lot of guys, he faked taking his cap off to the crowd when he made a lot of really crucial putts. It seemed to fire him up on Saturday, and he ended up winning his match. And he played incredible down the stretch, making birdies on the last 3 holes to win his match. On Sunday, Justin Thomas didn't wear a hat as well and kept fake doffing his cap every time he made a great shot. And so it was just a lot of back and forth. And but for a caddy to get into it with a player, it's not a good look. And he overstepped his bounds, I think, there for it, because the caddies are supposed to hand the guys the clubs, tell them what to hit, keep them calm, but not to be involved in that kind of a way.
No. Like they're supposed to be in the background. They're not supposed to be front and center. That's what the player's job is. That's what they're supposed to do. And so it's odd. Okay, so the Ryder Cup, Europeans win, but that's not the story, is it?
No.
That's not even close.
No, that's true. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this becomes the big story coming out of there. And I want to show you the celebrations that the European team had on their team bus as they were leaving the grounds yesterday. It was very fun.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right. That's pretty funny.
There was so much good footage from that. They were singing and chanting, and they were having an absolute ball. It looked like the most fun party that you could ever imagine. And I wish I was there. I kicked myself when I saw the opening ceremonies and I saw how cool and amazing everything looked in Rome. Rome, Italy is a city that I've always wanted to visit. The shots that came out of there, they kept showing this Colosseum that, is just one of the 7 wonders of the world, they call it. And just the gala they had going in on, I think it was Thursday night, the guys and their wives all dressed in the nicest outfits you ever seen and walked through this procession through the streets and came to the fancy restaurant they were going to. And man, it just looked amazing there. And Rome, Italy just hit probably the top of my bucket list. I got to go there next time I hit Europe.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's just got a tremendous amount of history there, and not known for their golf, but when they put on an event like that, well then, yeah, even they can pull that off and make it look really, really good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so fun and brilliant to watch. Loved it. Just do want to mention Rugby World Cup continues. That's been phenomenal. Great to watch. The top 4 teams in the 4 brackets are France, South Africa, Wales, and England. Yesterday, South Africa won handily 49-18 over Tonga. Australia won. Way to go to them. Beat Portugal 34-14. The next set of matches start Thursday. New Zealand faces Uruguay on Thursday. France and Italy Friday, and then Wales, England, and Ireland all play on Saturday, and they are all doing really great. They're all favored in their matches. It's been phenomenal to watch a ton of these games. 2 sad notes to mention. George Reed, CFL legend, passed away on Sunday, one day before his 84th birthday. He was the CFL's all-time leading rusher running back, finished his career with 16,116 yards. It's only been passed once since 1976 when he retired. Mike Pringle passed it by 209 yards or something like that. So this guy, was an absolute legend. Scored the most rushing touchdowns in CFL history with 134. MVP in 1965. His number was retired by Saskatchewan, who he played his entire career for. Number 34 was done. He won the MVP of the Grey Cup in 1966 with 133 yards rushing and a touchdown. Led the CFL in rushing from 65 through 69. Had 11 1,000-yard seasons. After he retired, he became the president of the CFL Players Association. Reigned for about 4 or 5 years. Left for a couple of years, came back and had another 10 or 12-year reign there. Made the Hall of Fame in 79. Was considered the second greatest CFL player to ever live when they made the announcement of their all-time team in 2006. He will be very missed. Great life. Did a ton of things post-career. Was really a big advocate for Special Olympics. Got the Order of Canada. Many accolades from this guy. An incredible guy from all accounts, and a phenomenal career. Probably the second greatest CFL player to ever live.
Yeah, he just had a super storied career, and then was even more exceptional once his career was over. He'll be sorely missed, but he lived his life to the fullest. You can absolutely say that.
Yeah, and CFL never known for being a running league. When you got 3 downs, you got to pass the football a lot more. So, for him to rack up those kind of numbers, incredible, and spend his entire career with Saskatchewan, very, very highly regarded there. They've got a statue outside the stadium for him, and if you ever go there, great time. Go to a game in Saskatchewan, you'll have an absolute blast. One of the most fun times I've ever had. And unfortunately, another passing in the world of football. Former Pro Bowl tight end Russ Francis was killed in a plane crash yesterday in Lake Placid, New York. His plane took off. They had some difficulties, and they said they were going to turn around and land back on the runway. They didn't make the runway, crashed, and he was killed. He played for the New England Patriots, was a Pro Bowler 3 times with them. He won a Super Bowl with the 49ers in 84, and had a storied career as a tight end there. Will be sorely missed as well.
Yeah, definitely sorely missed, and it's such a tragedy, especially when knowing that they knew something was wrong, but they just couldn't get back in time.
Yeah, man, that must have been heartbreaking. Just realize something was wrong, and try to make it back and not be able to. Tough. But a guy that also had a great football career. So let's stay with the NFL now. Talk about we'll go through game by game, but I do want to make a couple highlights. Miami no longer unbeaten in the AFC. Last unbeaten team in the AFC. They lost to the Bills 48-20 yesterday after their huge 70-20 victory over Denver the week before. Everybody was almost crowning them the new Super Bowl champs and saying, you can't stop this offense. Somehow the Bills were able to and get a very big victory in the division matchup. And Bills have been the superior team in this division for a few years now, and really flexed their muscle and said, hey, don't forget about us.
Yeah, absolutely. They were able to create turnovers, which was, I think that was definitely the turning point in this game. Yeah. And Allen had a massive game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He said the man had a massive game.
Yeah, I can't wait to break it down in a few minutes with you. It's going to be amazing. The other big game that a lot of people were talking about was the defending Super Bowl champions Chiefs going into the Meadowlands, playing the New York Jets on Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers was there, Taylor Swift was there, tons of celebrities. And this game was a lot closer than anybody expected. The Chiefs just squeaked out a victory over the Jets, and yeah, surprising. Can't wait to break that down with you as well. And but we always start with the NFC East, and let's start there as we have been. This was an NFC East battle between the Eagles and the Commanders, Philadelphia and Washington. Turned out to be a phenomenal game. A lot of people expected Philly to, beat them handily, but these divisional matchups are usually very, very close and very tight. Ended up having to go to overtime, and Philly ended up pulling out the 34-31 win. Jake Elliott hit the winning 54-yard field goal in overtime, his fourth of the game, pulling it out. But this was a hell of a game, one of the best games of the weekend.
It was actually awesome game. Awesome game to watch. I was impressed with the way that Howell came back from a not very good start last weekend.
Yeah.
He really showed up for this game.
I thought he looked great. I thought he looked great. Yeah, he was very solid, very poised, confident. Yeah, I loved watching him play.
Oh yeah, man. And he had a good game. 29 to 41 for 290 yards and a touchdown. Handed off one to Robinson for another touchdown. He had 14 carries for 45 yards. But it's the games like this that top teams have to win.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have the ability to win these games. They absolutely do. And Hurts had another magnificent game, 25 and 37, 319 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he had his favorite target, AJ Brown, playing incredible. 9 catches, 175 yards, and a couple touchdowns. Also, DeAndre Swift is such a weapon that they utilize. Their running game has been phenomenal the last couple seasons, and Swift comes in, has a great game, gets another touchdown. This team is tough when they're really good running game, and they got that great lethal passing game with AJ Brown. Every time I see AJ Brown, I just can't believe that anybody would give up on that guy. The guy is just a beast. He's so impossible to stop, and Hurts just loves this guy.
Well, as you should, because he's one of the top receivers in the league. And for the Titans to be like, yeah, you know what? I think we're better off without you. Like, okay. Because the Eagles just said, we're better off with him. So we're just going to pay that guy so he could be on our team. And Hurts is just lucky enough that he's got such a great receiving core. I think it was Devontae Smith had a spectacular catch in that game too as well. Yeah. So, the Eagles are rolling right now. They're rolling.
Yeah. Smith also had a good game, 7 catches, 78 yards, and Eagles are rolling 4-0 and looking just super solid. They go into LA and play the Rams in the later window, Sunday 1:05 kickoff Pacific time. Washington takes on the Bears, hosting the Bears on the Thursday night football this week. So short week ahead for them. I'm impressed with the Commanders, 2-2 on the season and looking pretty good. I think their trajectory is on the way up, and this team will be pretty solid all season long. Dallas, in their game, it was just an absolute blowout. They just absolutely annihilated the Patriots, 38-3. Their D was incredible. To get 2 touchdowns from their defense. This is the first time a Dallas defense has scored 2 touchdowns in a game since the first game of 2013 season, so 10 years ago. Their defense is no joke, and really just put a whipping on the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots were just basically run out of the stadium, man. Like they didn't have a chance, and Jones was not very good at all. Partly because of that defense, by the way, and also too, I just don't think he's that good. So he was 12 of 21, 150 yards, 2 interceptions. Not going to get it done. No. Not going to get it done at all. And then Prescott, just a pedestrian, 28 of 34, 261 yards, 1 touchdown. So
Good, yeah, good enough. That's all he needed to be. That's all they need him to be. It's just
That's
good
it.
enough.
Yeah.
They utilized a running attack. At least 8 players had 1 carry. They were just by committee. Cavante Turpin had 1 carry, 46 yards. Like, I think I'm giving the guy the ball more if he gets 46 yards on 1 carry. I'm not sure why that was it for him, but Tony Pollard was their main guy on the ground. Had a decent game, but didn't need to do a ton with their defense doing great. Jake Ferguson, top receiver, 77 yards and 7 catches, and CeeDee Lamb had a TD catch. This Patriots team is bad. This was the worst defeat in the Bill Belichick era. 29 years of coaching football. This is the worst defeat he's ever suffered, and only the second time he's lost by 30 points or more. So this is getting bad. I don't think he should have forced Tom Brady out the door because it's really, really fallen on some hard times in New England. The other thing was this was return for Ezekiel Elliott, and I thought they would just be handing him the ball like crazy and let him try to run up. Not a good day. 6 for 16, a 2.7 yard average, only 2 catches for 6 yards and through the air. Even Ramondre Stevenson shut down. 14 carries, 30 yards, only a 2 yard average. Nobody had a good day for the offense for the Patriots. Kyle Duggar, I got to make special mention of him. He had a great day on their defense. 12 tackles. That's their safety. But this was a whitewash. But Cowboys go to San Fran now and face the Niners on the Sunday nighter. This will be one of the games of the year, I think, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's going to be a great game. That's going to be a great game because the 49ers are really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
The Patriots, they host the Saints on the early window Sunday, hoping to turn it around. Sticking in the NFC East, the last team, the Giants, they're hosting the Seahawks tonight. 2 straight night games in New Jersey. This game should be pretty great, I think. I hope Seattle comes in 2-1. The Giants 1-2. Jamal Adams makes his long anticipated return. It sounds like he has missed way too much time. But Seattle's secondary has been decimated with injuries. They might be able to get Rick Woolen back tonight. But they're both corners, Artie Burns and Trey Brown, are both ruled out. And then their slot corner, Kobe Bryant, is out, and Charles Cross, their left tackle, is hurt. And all of these guys got toe injuries, which is weird and strange, except for Trey Brown, who has a concussion. If I got a bad toe, I'm just getting a shot in it and I'm playing. Like, what the hell? I'm not missing a game for a toe injury. I know turf toe is painful and it's not great, but like, come on, it's just a toe.
Okay, come on now. All right, so because I've actually had turf toe before, it's not great. It's extremely. It sucks. So I get it. I understand, and also too, like, their team's really beat up right now, man. That's a lot of injuries. It's a lot of injuries to cover for.
I think they're going to have to slide some of their other guys into some certain spots. Julian Love might have to slide from safety over to one of the corner slots. Jarek Reed might have to also come in. And then they've got a guy, Tez Tabor, who's been on the practice roster. He might have to get elevated. We'll see how this comes together. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to have some kind of celebration, but they should. This was the site of their Super Bowl victory 10 years ago. And this is where they had their lone Super Bowl win. So I think the team should have a little bit of a celebration somehow. I don't know how they can or or if they will, but this is the lone really bright spot in Seahawks history, the site of it 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, and it didn't have to be just one.
No.
Could have been two.
Should have been two, yeah.
Could have been two.
Yeah.
I digress, though. Maybe they'll do something, but I would say they probably won't, just because it might be distracting, and then they just want to concentrate on winning the game.
On the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is doubtful. Haven't heard an update quite yet today, but his high ankle sprain is keeping him out, and probably will not play again tonight. Daniel Jones is 0-6 on the Monday Night Football and 1-11 in primetime games. So doesn't like the spotlight, doesn't like the attention created for a primetime game. Really needs to step up tonight. Signed a 4-year, $160 million deal as an extension. And needs to put some points on the board. They are an NFC worst for offensive production, 43 points in their first 3 games. And they're going to have to score a lot more than that to beat the Seahawks tonight.
Yeah, a lot more. And the way that they score is being severely hampered because Saquon's out with an injury, right? And that's a huge part of their offense.
Yeah. Seahawks have a bye after this game, so they can go all out and throw all those toe guys out there, and they can recover in that bye week. They go to Cincinnati after that. New York goes to Miami, so tough test for them next Sunday, the early window there. So NFC West now. Let's turn to the NFC West. We talked about the Niners briefly. They're facing the Cowboys next week. They are 4-0 again starting the year. It was this Christian McCaffrey show, CMC. They are 14-0 now in the regular season since Christian McCaffrey came in, and he made sure that streak was going to keep going with a 4-touchdown effort. An absolutely massive game. The guy is just unstoppable when he's healthy, and such an incredible weapon. Brock Purdy was also almost perfect on the game. Only had 1 incompletion on the entire day. This team is like lethal. Look out. They are stacked completely front to back, top to bottom, and they had a pretty easy contest against Arizona. I don't think anybody was expecting them to pull a Dallas that lost Arizona last weekend. But as I said, the Christian McCaffrey show again.
Oh yeah, he was electrifying. He was electrifying. No. 20 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. But what's more impressive, the 7 receptions for 71 more yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. And that's the thing with the 49ers that I love, right? Because it can be anybody on that offense. Yeah. Because, you remember Brandon Ayuk, who I didn't mention like last weekend? Okay, so this weekend, he comes in for 6 receptions for 148 yards. Yeah. Like, you're just going to get hit from so many places. You don't know who's going to hit you, but you're getting hit. And that's what the 49ers are all about. Like, even the Cardinals, Dobbs, I give them credit, man. You scored 2 touchdowns. Pretty good. I expected 0. So good on you, Cardinals.
Yeah. Oh, he had decent numbers. Dobbs had decent numbers. Yeah. But he hooked up with Michael Wilson, who got his first 2 touchdowns. First two touchdowns of his career, 7 catches, 76 yards. Hollywood Brown, another guy I'm really surprised in, is in a different location. Baltimore gave up on him. He brought in 7 balls for 96 yards. They've got Zach Ertz, who one of the best tight ends in the game, who got 6 catches. James Conner, really like his game. But this team is rebuilding. Kyler Murray, they announced that he could come off the physically unable to perform list as of today, but they're not going to do it. He's not ready. His knee's not good enough quite yet. So Dobbs is the man for the short term until Kyler comes back. But yeah, the Niners have incredible amount of weapons. Boza on defense, Purdy, Ayuk, Debo, CMC. You got just incredible team. This is the 13th consecutive game that Christian McCaffrey has scored a touchdown. He passed Jerry Rice for the longest streak in 49ers history. When you're passing a guy like that, you're doing something special. And as long as he can stay healthy, he is going to be one of the he will be, if not the top guy as MVP votes outside of the quarterback position, one of those top guys, because he's having a phenomenal year and nothing seems to be slowing him down.
Exactly. Like if he can keep this up, he can stay healthy, then yeah, he's having an MVP caliber season already. And if he can stay on this trajectory, he's going to be right there.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, Sunday nighter, Cowboys, 49ers, probably the game of the weekend, next weekend. Super excited about that. We'll see if the Cowboys are contenders or pretenders. I favor the 49ers in this one. There's going to be few teams that can compete with San Francisco this entire year. This is going to be a pretty historic season for them. The Cards host Cincinnati. That's in the afternoon window, 1:05 start for them. And we'll see. Yeah, Cincinnati's struggling, so we'll see how that comes together. Last team in the division is the Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. Rams were considered to be one of the teams that were going to struggle big time this year. And the Colts, we'll see. Let's see. Rams ended up pulling out the game in overtime after blowing a 23-0 lead. Puka Nacua setting records like crazy. This guy had just an absolutely amazing 4-year career already. He set a record with his 31st reception in catching in the first 4 games. He now has 39. He has just incredible numbers: 9 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown. First player to have 100+ receiving yards in his first 4 games since Arlen Hill in 1954. Many things coming on. 39 receptions, first all time in the first 4 games of a career. 501 yards, first all time, and 3 100-yard games tied for first all time. This guy has said Cooper Kupp who? And come in and just had an amazing start to his career already.
Oh, he's been a breath of fresh air for like the Rams, finding this hidden gem that they didn't know they had, but now they definitely do. And once Kupp comes back, that guy's his job is going to be so much easier, because now the defense is going to have to shade over to Cooper Kupp. He's going to have a lot more one-on-ones, and he, like, again, he's a rookie. He's only actually going to get better.
Yeah,
he's only going to get better, man. So yeah, man, amazing job, amazing work.
They did a great job with their draft picks. Their rookie running back Kyron Williams had another phenomenal game: 25 carries, 103 yards, and a couple touchdowns. 3 catches, 24 yards through the air. Stafford looked great, 319 yards. Anthony Richardson back from his concussion. He is the first quarterback in NFL history with 4 rushing touchdowns in his first career games. He ended up having a pretty decent game, couple 100 yards through the air, a couple touchdowns, and he scored 1 on 10 carries on the ground. Has a few weapons there, but obviously missing their running back. He's supposed to be eligible to come off that PUP list as well, but there hasn't been any kind of trade made, any kind of deal signed with him. We'll see if they can come to terms and get their running back, Jonathan Taylor, back. But yeah, they're sorely missing him. 2-2 on the year, and if he was in there, they might have been able to pull out this win. They might have been able to pull out a couple more wins on the season. Hopefully, this can be rectified and the situation solved soon.
I think that's being extremely hopeful at this point in time, because I don't see. I think this relationship is broken between the two, between Taylor and the Colts. I think probably the best thing for the Colts to do would be just to trade him, try to get as much as they can for him, because I honestly don't believe. I think their relationship is broken.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would be nice. Just make a deal and move on. Rams host the Eagles on Sunday later window. Indy hosts the Titans in the early window on Sunday. Okay, let's turn to the NFC North. On Thursday night, we had a North battle between the Lions and the Packers. Detroit won 34-20. It was the David Montgomery show, that game. 32 carries for 121 yards and 3 touchdowns and a couple catches for 20 more yards. He said, Jamal Williams, who? I'm the guy. I'm the man. Give me the rock. They gave it to him 34 times in that game. We're really relying on anybody else from this one.
I don't think they had to. They really didn't have to. He had himself a huge game, man. 3 touchdowns. So you said 32 carries, 121 yards. Goff was good. 19 of 28, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Detroit handled the Packers pretty easily.
I feel sorry for Jordan Love. He was picked off twice, got sacked 5 times. They only allowed 27 yards rushing, so they were just keying in on him big time. Aaron Jones came back from injury and just was nothing. 5 for 18 on the ground and 1 catch for 4 yards through the air. A.J. Dillon was 5 carries for 11 yards. Jordan Love had 2 carries for -2 yards. It was not good. It's really, really, really bad in Green Bay now. Their whole entire offensive line is decimated. David Bakhtiari just had his 4th knee surgery on his left knee in the last 3 years. That might be career ending for him, unfortunately. He signed a 4-year, $92 million deal in 2020 and has only been able to play 13 games since, and is just not there. They also have knee injuries to Elgin Jenkins, who has an MCL sprain, their left guard. Zach Tom is out with a knee injury, their right tackle, and Tom Runyon has a sprained ankle, their right guard. So tough for a guy coming in really in his rookie year, kind of, with Love, and your offensive line is just torn up. You got to have backups in there trying to protect you. It's not going to go well if these guys can't get healthy and come back.
No, it's not going to go well. What's actually going to happen is what you saw in this game, which was him running for his life. Yeah. So he's going to be doing that for the rest of the season. Good luck, Packers.
Yeah. Okay, so Detroit hosts Carolina next Sunday. Carolina, a winless team, and one of the 2 winless teams in the year, so easier matchup there for them. And then Green Bay plays Vegas a week from tonight, next Monday nighter. There's only one Monday nighter next week, luckily. 5:15 matchup. Okay, continuing on in the NFC North. We had a battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina, one of the 2 winless teams, along with Chicago in the NFL. Vikings utilized Justin Jefferson, and Harrison Smith was just phenomenal on defense. But Jefferson had another great game with a couple touchdown catches. Harrison Smith was a beast on defense. He had 3 sacks himself, 1 forced fumble, 8 tackles, 6 assists, and they had 5 sacks overall on Bryce Young, who came back from a concussion and had to run for his life as well. Carolina and Chicago are going to battle for that worst team again. like they did last year, both 0-4, and a tough for a guy to come in from college, high school career amazing, college career amazing, and then he's got to come to an organization that's this bad and try to turn it around. Tough go for Bryce Young here.
Yeah, it's always a tough go for guys like that, where it's like, I've won at every level until I finally achieved my dream. I got to the highest level, and now I lose, and I'm going to lose for a while.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, because his team is not good enough.
No.
They're not doing enough.
I felt a bit bad for Adam Thielen coming back to Minnesota. Long time, amazing receiver for the Vikings there. He contributed definitely, 7 catches, 76 yards, but to go back and see your old teammates, you want to sort of stick it to them, and not possible on this team.
No, unfortunately not possible. But he saw his running mate for a couple of years there, Jefferson. Well, he put it on him. He put it on the Panthers.
Yeah. He's taken over the mantle there for sure. Speaking of the Vikings, Cam Akers had his first game for Mini after they acquired him from LA. 5 carries, 40 yards, 2 catches, 11 yards. Decent game for him. Good to see. Canadian boy Chuba Hubbard had a decent game, 14 carries, 41 yards, and a couple catches. Miles Sanders, though, holy cow, was he ever shut down? 13 carries for only 19 yards. That's not going to get it done for any team. So, tough. It's going to be a tough go in Carolina. Maybe they're hoping to tank again and try to get that number 1 overall pick again.
Well, even if they don't mean to, I think they're still going to tank.
Yeah. Minnesota hosts Kansas City on Sunday, 1:25 kickoff time, Pacific time, and Carolina goes to Detroit, as I mentioned, early window. Okay, now we can turn now to let's see. We'll go to the NFC South. Divisional battle between the host Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay came in really surprising a lot of teams. I think a lot of people thought when Baker Mayfield took over for Tom Brady, this team was going to sink and not have a very good year at all. Baker's been good, had a good game, 3 touchdown passes, utilizes his weapons, and Godwin was his favorite on the night, 114 yards receiving. Devin Tompkins had a touchdown. Cade Otton had another. Trey Palmer had a touchdown catch as well. And this team seems to be firing on all cylinders, getting a nice 26-9 victory over New Orleans. Good on defense, decent on offense. Good game for Tampa Bay. Yeah,
it's just a good game all around. And again, as I've said before, in Baker we trust. In Baker we trust.
Right.
And the man is he's been showing up every game with another 3 touchdown performance. What more can you say, man? What more can you ask from him? He's winning football games, most importantly. And unfortunately, Carr didn't get it done. 127 yards passing in total. That's not good enough. That's not good enough to win.
They tried to get Alvin Kamara to be the one that would drive this bus, but he wasn't able to really ever get out in space and get those yardage that he can normally get. He had 24 touches, 11 carries on the ground, and 13 catches through the air, but only 33 yards. So they weren't able to get the blocking, get him in space, get him out running, and to get 13 catches for only 33 yards. That's really shutting a guy down for the Tampa Bay defense.
No, that is most certainly shutting a guy down. Because you think with 13 catches, he should have should have easily over 100 yards.
Yeah.
But since they were keying on him, then they limited what he could do offensively.
Derek Carr was banged up. Not sure how much his injury is affecting him, but 127 yards. I don't remember seeing that low of a total from him for years. So that was quite surprising. I love seeing Taysom Hill's numbers. He had 1 pass for 19 yards. 4 runs for another 10 yards and a catch for 7 yards. That good old a guy that you can utilize in every position, every place. Maybe he would have done better than Derek Carr did.
Uh, possibly, possibly, but we never know because he's never really been given the reins.
No.
So we don't know. But with that being said, they need to actually incorporate him a little bit more into their offense because he's just such a dynamic weapon. I think he needs more touches than what he's been given so far.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're worried about him getting hurt, and then they don't have proper backup. I know they utilize Jameis Winston, but he doesn't seem to have it anymore. I was shocked to see the numbers for Chris Olave: 1 catch, 4 yards, complete shutdown there. Michael Thomas, 4 catches, 53 yards, just an average day for Thomas. So, but yeah, this was this was a beatdown. Tampa's looking like they're no joke and moving on. They now have a bye, so get to be able to regroup going into their second quarter, 3-1, pretty decent. They host the Lions after the bye on October 15th, and the Saints go to the Patriots, play in the early window on Sunday. Sticking with the NFC South, I wanted to focus on the Jacksonville-Atlanta game from Wembley Stadium in London. Drake London scoring a touchdown, kind of poetic justice, getting a London scoring a touchdown in London, kind of cool. Jacksonville were able to utilize Calvin Ridley getting a touchdown, and then Darius Williams got a 61-yard touchdown interception return. Trevor Lawrence was decent. Everybody else played pretty good, but Atlanta struggled for sure. They had Josh Allen. He got 3 sacks. Strip sack, recovery of the fumble, and Desmond Ridder was also running for his life every time he faded back to try to pass the ball. Jacksonville staying in London, playing 2 straight games there. Nice to get that first victory there in Wembley.
Yeah, and they made it look easy. Because Ridder, unfortunately, he didn't have a lot of time to pass the ball in this game. Like, he didn't have a lot of time at all. So they were coming at him in waves. But I guess for one bright spot for the Falcons was Bijan Robinson again, 14 carries, 105 yards, 5 receptions for another 32 yards. He's been as good as televised. He's been good for them.
Yeah, no, he's been such a good pickup, and as hopefully he can stay healthy, because he's a true weapon, and they're utilizing him a lot. Hopefully they can get better protection for Ridder, and he is able to be able to march this offense down the field. Only scoring 7 points in an NFL game is a big fail, and it didn't work out well. They host the Texans on Sunday, a resurgent Texans, so another tough battle for them. The Jags, as I mentioned, they play again in London. They welcome in Buffalo, though, so a lot tougher test for them coming up this week. That's the early game, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time kickoff. Another mention I want to make is that I watched quite a bit of the Toy Story broadcast that was done on this game, and it was pretty fun, pretty great. I think it was a big hit, and I think it's a smart move for the NFL to partner with them and do something like this. It was fun to watch. We set our alarm, woke up, put it on. Larray watched almost the entire game from the Toy Story perspective. I watched the broadcast and some of the pregame for the first games of the morning, but I think it was a big thumbs up. It was very fun to watch, and I'm sure a lot of young people would have loved it.
Yeah. Well, and then that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to garner that younger audience. That's why they do these things, right? So I'm just glad to hear that it was a success.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was pretty cool and neat how they could do it in real time, and they were definitely catering it to that younger audience. They put a lot of explanations when things were happening on the field. Booger McFarland was the color analyst, and he was really explaining everything. And they kept showing, different aspects, what you need for first down, what a field goal is, what this is, what that is. A lot of trivia questions, a lot of neat things, and it was smart. I think it was definitely a win for the NFL, and going forward, I'm sure they're going to have more games like this coming up. So, okay, now we can turn to the AFC, and we can talk about the Bills. As they said, they're going into London this Sunday, but they hosted those mighty Miami Dolphins in a divisional battle, knocked them out from the unbeaten ranks. No more AFC teams are unbeaten. 48-20 victory. Josh Allen was huge. 320 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, ran in one himself, 5 TD day. Stephon Diggs was massive too. 120 yards reception and 3 touchdowns. That one touchdown that he got where he was on the sideline, they looked like they were tackling him. He shoved them aside and ran down the sideline for a TD, was phenomenal. And now these guys are getting along so well. This is a dynamic duo and pretty unstoppable force.
Well, winning solves everything. And I'm sure if I'm Diggs, it's like, so Allen, just to keep me happy, just pass me the ball so I can score some touchdowns.
Yeah.
About 3 touchdowns a game. That's all I'm asking. And everything's going to be great.
Yeah. Enough said. Boom. I'm sure that was a conversation that was had. I'm really liking Dalvin Cook's little brother, James. I like what he brings to the table. They got to pass him the ball more. 1 catch for 48 yards. I think the guy deserves a few more, throws in coverage. Didn't have a dynamic game on the ground, but scored a touchdown. And I'm liking the Cook brothers.
Yeah, no, the Cook brothers are good, man. I remember the first time I heard of James Cook, and I was just like, well, who's that? Is that Dalvin's brother? This is awesome, right? So yeah, he's been having a great game. But I want to say that A-Chain, that rookie is real good, man. Yeah. He's real good. 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just 8. That's all you need. Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah. Unreal. Yeah, he's absolutely been phenomenal. Josh Allen has now thrown 36 touchdowns against Miami in his career, most of any active quarterback of any other team. 7-0 against Miami, 24 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 9-2 in his career, 12-2 overall since 2017. Buffalo over Miami. This is a dominating team over Miami, coming in off that 70-point game, like I mentioned earlier. Their weapons were kind of shut down. Tyreek's numbers. Can you believe Tyreek Hill's numbers? How was Buffalo able to do this?
Well, I think they just shaded their defense more over to his side. They tried to take away what he does best, because you give that guy space, well, okay, you're just asking for problems. So they took away his space, I believe. And then also, too, again, the Bills' defense was great in creating turnovers, because I think they made Mostert fumble the ball twice in that game. So, yeah.
Yeah. I wish the Chargers played them this week, because they could look at the film and see what double teaming Tyreek Hill does and what single coverage does. They got lit up badly by Hill earlier in the season, and Buffalo figures out how to shut him down. Jalen Waddle was back and he had a decent game, 4 catches, 46 yards, but I can live with that. Tyreek Hill put up astronomical numbers against the Chargers, and Buffalo utilizes a smart defense and takes him pretty much out of the game. So I loved Buffalo's defense, man. I think they're a bit underrated. They're pretty damn impressive. Sonny Milano was phenomenal, 8 tackles. Micah Hyde had another interception, 4 tackles. The only real downer was Tre'Davious White, blew out his Achilles. and they're not sure if it's a season ender, but it sure looked like it. He left the field on a cart, and really feel sorry for them. He's a weapon on defense that they will sorely miss.
Definitely. That's a big blow. That's a big blow, and it's an unfortunate blow. But anything to do with Achilles, unless you're hold on a second, Terrell Suggs, who had some sort of Wolverine type thing where he was able to get over his Achilles injuries in literally like 5 months. Yeah, you could probably say that his season's probably done.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah.
The other great thing that's happened was DeMar Hamlin had his first game of the season. He was on special teams, and great to see him back. I think they said 227 days after his cardiac arrest on the field, and nice to see him make the active roster and you know, consistently making his way back. Jordan Poyer was hurt, so he was in for him, but didn't play a ton on defense. But it's great to see him continuously making improvements and steps in his recovery and his way back from this this terrible, tragic thing that happened to him. You know, earlier this year, I guess it was.
Yeah. It's great to see that he's come all the way back and that he made the team and that he's playing now. So it's good. It's good to see.
The Dolphins host the Giants early window Sunday, and the Bills, as I said, they play the Jags in that really early window. Sticking with the NFC East, we had the Kansas City Chiefs against the New York Jets. This was supposed to be a whitewash. Chiefs are supposed to just dominate. Zach Wilson has been taking so much abuse. Everybody's saying, get the hell out of Dodge. We don't want you. We don't need you. You're no good. You're the biggest bust in NFL history almost. And he actually played pretty decent, I thought. He played pretty decent, but he had the fumble on the last time he touched the ball that really just shifted the game into the Chiefs' favor. The Chiefs were able to get ahead and then run out the clock the last half of that fourth quarter. And he put the blame on himself for that. But I thought he was playing pretty good, had confidence, was hitting his targets very well. It's just sad that one play like that can really define your night and give you the loss and really keep people on that chain of getting rid of you and replacing you with somebody else.
But actually, a very significant thing happened with Zach, though, with the post-game interview. He accepted responsibility.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing last year.
True.
He didn't actually do that.
True.
So at least in that respect, that's some personal growth that he's made.
Yeah.
I think maybe Rodgers has even helped him do that.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If you want something positive, that's a positive. Now, here's the thing, Jets fans. You went against Mahomes. You were never supposed to win this game. Even if they barely just won, a win is still a win.
True.
A win is still a win. And Mahomes didn't even have a very good game. 203 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. But it was Pacheco that bailed out the team. He had a great game, 20 carries, under 15 yards and the touchdown.
Yeah, Pacheco was really good. Poor Garrett Wilson. We'll see how this pans out. But I was impressed with a lot of his poise and the way he was engineering some of the drives. Partway through that game, looked okay. And I just didn't work out in the end. But we'll see. Jets go to Broncos Sunday. Broncos not a great team this year. They play in that late window, 1:25 kickoff Pacific time. And the Chiefs go to the Vikings, same kickoff time in that 1:25 window. AFC West now. Let's see. We had the game between the Chargers and the Raiders. Vegas came in, not having Jimmy G under center. They lost him to a concussion. So Aiden O'Connell got his first career start. By everybody's measures, he had a great preseason and really started opening some eyeballs, making people think that he was no joke. He came as a 4th round pick out of Purdue, and had an okay game, but Khalil Mack was in his face the entire game, recording 6 sacks. We haven't seen that in 30 years, a guy getting 6 sacks in a game. Asante Samuel picked him off late, and it was the Chargers defense for once stepping up and being the main catalyst for the reason why they won this game.
Yeah, because if I was O'Connell, I'm like, what? How many Khalil Macks are out here today? Like 14 of you? Like, Jesus. Yeah, he was. Mack was just, like you said, in his face, swarming him the entire game. One of the main reasons why the Chargers won. And Herbert was okay. He was just okay. 167 yards, a touchdown, interception. But he also had 12 carries for 27 yards and 2 more scores.
Yeah.
So if he couldn't get it done with his arm, that's a great thing with Herbert. Not really feeling it with my arm today, so I'll just run, get some more touchdowns, be fine.
Yeah. Herbert threw a pick and was trying to make a tackle. He ended up suffering a fractured middle finger on his left hand, non-throwing hand. They had a splint on it, and he played. He said, it's just a flesh wound, bit of a scratch. I'm fine, no worries. I'll play next week. So he's downplaying it. It might be a bit tough to handle the football as you're getting it from the center and trying to hand it off and gripping it before you rip it. So we'll see if it has any effect on him. But yeah, that was a little bit concerning when he had to leave, had to go under the tent, had to go in the locker room, that kind of thing. But he's downplaying it.
Oh yeah, he's most certainly downplaying it because, like you said, it's all about like how you grip the football and stuff. And now his grip is most certainly compromised. But he's a gamer, and he'll do what needs to be done.
Yeah. The other injury woes that happened in the game was Devontae Adams. He left due to a shoulder injury. He returned to the game later on, but he said his shoulder's not feeling that good. His quote was, my shoulder definitely does not feel good right now, but I just had to nut it up and get back in there. We'll see. If it flares up. As I said, they're playing the Packers on Monday Night Football this coming week. He would be a huge loss if he's unable to go.
No, I know it would really suck if he's unable to go. Hopefully he is able to go because they need him. They need him to win games.
They sure do. Yes. What else? Josh Jacobs finally got his first touchdown of the season. Aiden O'Connell looked okay, but he's seeing Khalil Mack ghosts for the next few weeks, and it'll be tough. We'll see if Jimmy G gets back off concussion protocol coming in. And Mahomes became the fastest quarterback in history to get 200 touchdowns. It only took him 84 games. The record was in Marino's hands until yesterday, 89 games. And Chargers have a bye next week, and they host the Cowboys on the Sunday nighter after that. And then the Raiders host the Packers as Monday, as I mentioned. So, okay, AFC North battle between, well, I don't know if it's a battle, but AFC North game between Baltimore and Cleveland. Divisional game, and Baltimore was able to feast on the rookie. They're calling him DTR. Darren Thompson Robinson had to come in. Late replacement, and didn't fare too well with that Baltimore defense. And Lamar Jackson was, obviously the better quarterback in this one. Threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 more. Mark Andrews, his favorite target as usual, brought in both touchdown catches. And their D picked off DTR 3 times, sacked him 4, held him to only 166 yards total, 73 passing, 93 rushing. So, yeah, a tough inauguration to an NFL career for Darren Thompson Robinson.
Tough day at the office. Tough day at the office. That's
Yeah.
that's about all you can say. And Lamar Jackson was just like, I think I just have to do enough to win this game. I don't have to really do too much here.
Yeah.
And he was, and yeah.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, he was a late scratch. I think surprised a lot of people. I only heard about it maybe an hour before kickoff, and that must have been tough for a guy coming in. You're not getting those first team snaps through the week. You're ready to play, and all of a sudden you're handed the playbook, and here you go. Do your best, and yeah, that's got to be tough for any human on the planet to get that kind of assignment 1 hour before you're supposed to start the game.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because you are not prepared. You are not prepared to go into that game because you weren't taking the first team snaps in the practices, so you can only do your best. So luckily, it was only 3 interceptions, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. David Njoku was questionable to play as well. He was their leading pass catcher, but he was questionable because he was trying to light a barbecue pit on the weekend. It blew up in his face, burned his hands, severe burns supposedly, and he ended up saying no, he wanted to play, and he did. We'll see if there's long-term injuries, but I heard it was pretty massive, severe burns that he suffered trying to get his barbecue going.
That's amazing that he played. Like
Yeah.
that's a certain level of toughness. It's like, oh no, like some of those burns are 2nd degree burns. Wow. Okay.
Scary. Unreal.
It's unreal.
Yeah. Baltimore goes to Pittsburgh Sunday, another divisional battle. The Browns welcome the 49ers. Tough task there. We'll see if Deshaun's able to come back. Another NFC North game. Steelers. It's tough there. Small hands Pickett. He's gone. Let's see. I've got the injury report here. Knee injury. He suffered on a failed 4th down try in the 3rd quarter. Mitchell Trubisky came in to replace him. He had just thrown his 4th pick in as many games. Not expected to be season ending, but the main concern is his MCL and meniscus. 4 to 6 week recovery, they think, pending MRI results. So Mitchell Trubisky not the answer to get victory there. Houston, I'm impressed. CJ Stroud really looking great, and this team it's pretty damn stacked. They've got a lot of weapons. Nico Collins is good. Devin Singletary even got a passing touchdown there. This team, really going to surprise a lot of teams, I think, this year. Big 30-6 victory for Houston over Pittsburgh.
Yeah, dominating performance by Stroud with 306 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of those to Collins, who had 7 receptions for 168 yards. He had a huge game. Massive game.
Yeah.
And Stroud, out of all the rookie quarterbacks so far, he's looking like the best.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Pittsburgh's in trouble. I don't know what Tomlin's going to do, but he said, yeah, we got major changes have to happen here. We got to figure this out. This is not acceptable. And the stats in this game, Houston had 451 yards, Pittsburgh 225. First downs 24-12 for Houston. Passing yards 312 to 111. Complete mismatch, and Pittsburgh's in serious trouble. They're only 2-2, but as I said, they host Baltimore next Sunday, and Houston goes to Atlanta to play your Falcons. So
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Tough for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Another AFC North team, Cincinnati, the lowest, the bottom team in the AFC North. Cincinnati's still struggling. Only put up 3 points. Tennessee won 27-3. Derrick Henry broke out after having a terrible game last week. Got 122 yards on the ground and even threw a 2-yard TD pass. Never knew Derrick Henry could throw like that. Good for him. And Tannehill wasn't, amazing, but didn't have to be. Their defense just shut down Cincy, and I don't know what's wrong in Cincy. They are in serious trouble. I don't know if it's just Burrow's calf or something else is wrong there, but this things need to get figured out before they start falling far out of the playoff picture.
Yeah, I personally think it's his calf. Like I think his calf has really been hobbling him a lot more than what he's let on, what the team is letting on.
Yeah.
It's to the point that for me personally, how bad would it be since you're already like 0-3 or whatever, if you just sat him down for a couple weeks, maybe try to, get him healthier than what he is right now, because what he is right now, it's not doing your team any favors, clearly. So
yeah, the numbers, we're just not used to this. His career, he's been phenomenal. He's getting pretty much 300 yards a game, and to see him only getting 165 yards in this one, no running. They're in trouble. T. Higgins, unfortunately, suffered a rib fracture, and he's set to miss some multiple games as well. So one more of his weapons done. There was some video of Jamar Chase being talked to in the locker room, and they said to him, what's the trouble? What's the problem? Why aren't you guys putting up bigger numbers? Are you not getting open as much as you should be? And he said, I'm open every single down. I'm open. Just get me the ball. And so I loved it. It was pretty funny video, and I don't know if he's angry or mad, but he just stated that fact. And get him the ball. Let's see. He can probably put up 150, 200 yards a game, and why not?
Yeah, well, if he says he's open every single time, then for sure. But again, Burrow, like from what I saw from this weekend, and even more so last weekend, he's not mobile.
No.
He doesn't have any mobility, man. He can shuffle around a little bit in the pocket, but like his legs are clearly compromised. Yeah. Clearly. Yeah.
So Cincinnati has an easier test. Sunday they play Arizona, and the Titans go to Indy. And speaking of Indy, we did sort of mention them. As I said, they lost 29-25 to the Rams. And that's a look around the entire NFL. Another great weekend, week 4. The game tonight should be fun. Seahawks, Giants, and looking forward to week 5 ahead as it gets closer. No UFC this weekend. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think there was just one more game.
Oh, okay.
That game. Broncos versus Bears.
Oh, we didn't mention that one. Yes. Right.
Such a barn burner. Actually, to be honest with you, it was actually a pretty good game.
Yeah. It was very competitive between the two teams.
Yeah, like I here I am thinking to myself, maybe 12-9. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it's probably gonna be something like that. But then I'm like, oh no, they scored. They put points on the board. And Fields had a great day at the office. He had a tremendous day. It was 4 touchdowns and 335 yards. And Russ actually did a comeback. They came back and won this game.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he could still do that. I was like, you probably can't do that anymore. That's something that he did in the past, but not anymore going forward. But he came back and he won this game for them. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. This game, I I really noticed that Matt Eberflus made a huge mistake, though. They went for it on fourth down instead of taking a field goal. They were down on the 18-yard line, went for it on fourth down, and instead of Fields, like I would have been fine with them going for it if I would have just done a quarterback sneak with Fields, but he handed it off to Khalil Herbert, and they didn't get it. And then Denver was able to take that and march it down, kick the winning field goal. If they would have had the field goal, then Denver would have had to either score a field goal or score a touchdown, and it would have went into overtime, or Denver would have had to try to punch it in. So bad mistake by Eberflus there. I don't know why he went for it. And, they would have been up by 3 with a couple minutes left. And, things would have maybe turned out quite a bit different.
Yeah, that was a little bit head scratching as well for myself, because I get it. You're in the heat of the moment. You're feeling yourself. It's like, oh man, we should be able to get this. We should be able to. But then when you don't get it, and then you lose because of it, tough.
I'm liking what the Eagles have sort of created. I'm seeing some other teams doing this now, where Hurts ends up trying to get the first down, and then about 2 or 3 backs and tight ends push the guy and just start shoving him as far as they can shove him. And I would have employed that with the Bears. Fields, get the ball, find a gap, and we'll get 3-4 guys shoving you. We should be able to get that yard. But when you're handing it off, the guy's getting the ball 3-4 yards in the backfield. If one guy's broken through that line and he gets you, you're done. You're not going to be able to get there. And I don't like fourth down when you're handing it to the running back. I think fourth down and 1, you're going to be able to get it with a quarterback sneak. Find that A gap, B gap, C gap, whatever the gap is, and then just get a couple guys to shove you. You only got to get a yard. It's not far.
Yeah, exactly. It is not far. And if you could do the quarterback sneak properly like the Eagles can, which they just do it perfect all the time. Like I think their percentage of how they accomplish that, getting their first down, is like it's super high. Like I want to say it's over 80%.
Yeah.
80%. Yeah.
This game was very interesting. For 2 0-3 teams coming in, you thought, Turtle Derby, this is going to be brutal, but nice and competitive. A lot of guys had a lot of good games. You mentioned Fields have a good game. He did throw that late pick and, ended up getting a strip sack where they returned it for a touchdown. But, the numbers look good. Also, he set a Chicago Bears all-time record with 16 straight completions to start a football game. That's pretty impressive in the long history of Chicago to get that. And he's been very maligned for not being a throwing quarterback, just being a running quarterback. For him to get 16 straight completions to start this game and give the Bears a lead early, very good beginning and something to build on.
Well, yeah, it is something to build on. Like I feel bad for the kid because I think he's actually pretty talented, but he just gets getting put through the ringer all the time. So
I'm not a fan of Matt Eberflus, and I think he's a guy that's stagnating Justin Fields, and I think this could be a better team if he would let him throw the ball more and show what he's got. He also got into a fight with our guy from Abbotsford, your
Chase
guy.
Claypool.
He's been Chase Claypool. He's been fighting with him. He ended up saying that he was a healthy scratch for this game. He was not welcome back into the facility even today. He will not be playing this Thursday. And this might be the end of Chase Claypool's career with Chicago. He's been having troubles with this organization, with Eberflus, and he said that he's not being utilized enough, and that really angered Eberflus. And he said, "Stay away. We don't want you. We don't need you." And either he's going to have to be traded, or he's going to miss this entire season.
So they'll probably try to get something for him. They're definitely going to trade him away for sure. It's been tumultuous ever since he's gotten to Chicago,
Yeah.
and it just hasn't been good. Especially, I think it was like the first week 1 or week 2 where you saw his effort, and it wasn't even close to being there.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close to being professional. You know what I mean? So, am I surprised to see it go down this route? No. The relationship, I think, was broken long before this, and I think this is just a culmination of all of it now.
Yeah. He's played in 10 games for them. He's only had 18 catches, 191 yards, and 1 lone touchdown. I think they said he's been targeted 31 times and only 18 catches. And you mentioned, you're right. You know, there was a lot of notice how poor his effort was in that first game on tackles, on trying to block and things. And yeah, so there's definitely a disconnect there with him. I don't know if Eberflus is, one of the reasons, but he's the coach, and that's it. You're at his mercy. So yeah, that's it for the NFL story. I'm glad you mentioned that we forgot that game. Yeah, Denver's 1-3 off the schneid finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing Russell Wilson engineer a comeback. Yeah, a lot of people had sort of given up on that.
No, I know I had. I definitely gave up on it. It's like, oh man, you're behind, so you lost again. And then it's like, no, actually, we have a little bit of pride since it was utterly demolished last weekend. So you know what? We're just gonna try to give the fans a break here. We're gonna win a game.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah, glad they got off the schneid.
Yeah.
Okay, no UFC this past Saturday, but one coming up this Saturday. Not the most stacked card, but looking forward to a few fights on it. Grant Dawson, number 10 ranked lightweight, faces one of our favorite fighters, Bobby King Green. He's brings such an incredible style, no quit attitude, and a guy that's very hard to fight. Dawson coming in, I really like this guy, 21-1, and he's got his last win against Damir Ismagulov in July. Bobby Green also fought in July, and he beat Tony Ferguson by that arm triangle choke. 6 seconds left, I think it was, in the fight. And this will be a fun one. It's a cool main event. It's not really a typical main event, but yeah, it should still be a really good battle.
I think it's gonna be a very entertaining fight for your main event, and I love Bobby Green because that guy, he will bring it, and he brings it all the time.
Yeah. The co-main, Joe Pfeiffer, Body Bags, love the nickname. He's on a 3-fight win streak. His last victory, he knocked out Gerald Mearshart in the first round in April. Last loss was to Dustin Stoltzfus back in 2020 due to an elbow injury that forced him out of the fight. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, last fight was a knockout win over Claudio Ribeiro. That was in 28 seconds back in January this year. His last loss was to Joaquin Buckley back February 19th, 2022, split decision loss.
Yeah,
I like these two guys.
Oh yeah, I definitely like this one. I guarantee this is not going to go the full decision.
Yeah.
This is going to end early.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think yeah, okay. I like your guarantee. I'm buying what you're selling there. Yeah, it's gonna be a very lightning battle. These guys are both knockout artists and should be good. Joaquin Buckley is Hassan's last opponent. And speaking of Buckley, he's on this card as well. He takes on Alex Great White Morano. Joaquin 16-6, Morano 23-8. Joaquin last win was a head kick KO of Andre Fiallo, who just fought like last week there. This was in May of 2023, and yeah, that was his last appearance. He had a couple losses before that to Chris Curtis and Nasruddin Imavov, but I love Buckley, what he brings. He's very, very, very spectacular, and when he lands punches, usually guys go to sleep.
Yeah, lands punches or kicks. Usually guys go to sleep. This would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Very good matchup because Alex Morono, very good fighter, very technically sound.
Morono's last victory was against the Dirty Bird Tim Means, who fought last week. He beat him with a guillotine choke in the second round in May. Last loss was to Santiago Ponzinibbio a year ago. Actually, I'm favoring Morono in this fight. I think he will get the victory. Another fight on the card that I'm looking forward to is Drew Dober coming in, fighting Rick Glenn. Dober is coming off a loss, as well as Glenn is too. They're both coming in off of knockout losses. Dober's was back in May to Matt Vrvola. Glenn was to Christos Giagos, got knocked out in April of 2023. We'll see. These two guys also bring it. Both coming in off losses. I think you're going to see some pretty good fireworks from both.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're going to see great fireworks from both. Drew Dober's always game. He's always game to throw down.
Yeah.
He's always game to get bloody. So it's going to be a good fight.
True. Yeah, he likes being in wars, it seems like. Yeah. The light heavyweight battle between Philippe Lins and Ion Cutelaba, that should be great. Both of them fought Tanner Boser, and I've been following their careers because of so. Philippe Monstro Lins is on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Maxim Grishin in June by decision. His last loss was to Tanner Boser back in June of 2020. And the Hulk, Ion Cutelaba, he also fought Tanner Boser. That was his last when he beat the Bulldozer, knocked him out in April of 2023. Unfortunately, he's on a 3-fight losing streak before that, too. But some really tough guys. Kennedy Nzechukwu, Johnny Walker, and Ryan Spann were his opponents before that. I'm favoring the Monstro in this one a little bit, but should be a war, as we've said about the other fights on this card.
Yeah. Again, another good matchup. I think I agree with you with Cutelaba. I think he's going to utilize his wrestling and come out on top of this one.
And then the final one I want to mention was Alex the Great Ape Hernandez. Comes in 14-6. His last fight was a decision victory over Jim Miller in February. He had 2 losses before that to Billy Quantillo and Anato Moicano. He's only 5-5 in the UFC overall. I'm leaning more towards Bill Senior Perfecto Algio. He comes in 17-7. Last fight was a win over TJ Brown, a rear naked choke victory in the second round in April. He lost to Andre Touchy-Feely before that, which is just a split decision loss in September of 2022. But both these guys, both experienced, both have had significant losses, for their records. But I think it's pretty evenly matched, this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's evenly matched. I kind of give the slight nod more to Algio, just for the strength of the fighters that he's fought as opposed to Hernandez. And I think he's better striker, technically.
Yeah. That's it for me for now. We got to post this, head out to our Iron Maiden show tonight. So it's going to be great. My last mention of the day was USC ended up beating Colorado on the weekend. They were favored by 20, only pulled out a 7-point victory over Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Buffaloes suffered their second straight loss, but many people thought they would against these two top-ranked teams. This was a fun game to see the highlights and stuff. I didn't see the whole game, but holy cow, lots of offense in this one. Caleb Williams, one of the Heisman Trophy finalists, is the quarterback for USC. His numbers were this: 30 for 40, 403 yards, 6 touchdowns. And his favorite receiver was Taj Washington, 8 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. And Jerry Rice's kid had 2 touchdowns, 5 catches for 81 yards. Yeah, pretty amazing to see Jerry Rice's son in there and contributing so significantly. Shadur Sanders had a phenomenal game too. 30 for 45, 371 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and scored a touchdown on his 14 carries on the ground. Omarion Miller had 7 catches, 196 yards, and a touchdown. Jimmy Horn Jr. had a couple touchdown catches, and yeah, lots of contributions from tons of guys. This was a shootout battle, and Colorado, they're losing these last 2 games, but they're fun to watch. This team is exciting and electric and dynamic, and I think they're gonna do pretty decent moving forward. But this was a big step up in competition the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I wanted to mention it. The highlights were spectacular. These teams both have incredible weapons.
Well, yeah, like you see Caleb Williams and the talent there, and you're just like, oh, okay, I can see why NFL teams would just tank just to get that guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, we're not going to be very good. So let's try to not win any games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right?
strange though, hey, when you're a team like Chicago, Carolina, the 2 winless teams, and last year they were like Chicago, okay, we could get Bryce Young, or we could stick with Justin Fields. Let's make Carolina give us a big package so we can get somebody else and we can wheel and deal. Now they're going to both finish bottom of the league again, and then they're like, okay, so Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, like, what do you do? Like, these guys just keep coming every year, and you're at the bottom again. What do you do?
Well, I guess you just have to make the decision on what do we want to do here? Do we want to tank it? Do we want to do like the Cardinals, be like, well, Kyler Murray is still injured for the season. He can't play for us, right? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can do things like that,
Yeah.
but is it worth it? For that particular quarterback, for that player, I think it most certainly is.
Yeah.
It's like he's franchise changing. That's how good that guy is.
Yeah.
He's a franchise changing player. So you probably want him to go for that guy. You want him.
He's awesome. Just amazing to watch. I'm gonna watch all those games from now on. Definitely the highlights, because I want to see him perform, because it's going to have a dynamic year, and that team's stacked, so it's going to be good. I did want to mention you're a lover of John Wick, the series John Wick. Have you watched The Continental yet?
No, I have not. I've heard good things, but I haven't watched it.
Okay. I've only watched 2 episodes. It's a 3-episode limited series. The episodes are like around an hour and a half about. And so far, awesome. John Wick 4 is about to hit the theaters, I think it is. And but I love the John Wick series, and this Continental, man, I highly recommend it. It's been phenomenal so far.
Okay, all right, because I love the series, and I've seen John Wick 4, and I've heard a lot of good things about the Continental. So eventually, I will get there.
I remember I think you're the first person that told me John Wick is one amazing action movie that, really blew you away, how good it was. And I only gave it a chance because you told me how good it was.
Oh, good. And the thing that I was actually really impressed with the whole John Wick series is how good Keanu Reeves is in that role.
Yeah.
Like just the fighting and the stunt work and all of that stuff. Super believable, and he's really good at it. Like, and on top of that, knowing from interviews and stuff, he actually worked on it. He's been working on his martial arts, his mixed martial arts, for like 8-10 years now.
Nice.
Or more.
Nice.
Yeah, and then that's how you know where it's realistic, because you can tell from the moves, right?
No, I was blown away when you told me about it, and I started watching. I thought, holy cow, this is great. And then another one's great, and another one's great, and holy cow, like, and this is cool to see a prequel. We don't get that too often in this type of a series. So to see a prequel and see how it all came together and how that Continental really came to be, it's very, very neat.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. I'm gonna have to put aside some time to watch it.
Yeah,
sure.
Check it out. Yeah. I'm glad you did that brewery tour. How was that? Fun?
That was fun.
Yeah.
Like it was fun because I felt it the next day. So
Yeah. I wondered. Yeah, I didn't hear anything from you yesterday. I wondered if you were feeling a little rough and slept in pretty late.
yeah, no, that's what definitely happened. All of that.
Yeah. That's so far away though. How did you get back and forth, or did you stay out there somewhere?
No, because the friend I went with, his girlfriend did not drink, so she was our DD.
Oh, nice. Oh, that works. That's a big help. Yeah. Yeah, I went to the great brewery we like on the weekend, and we had a nice time out there. But I love that brewery row out there. Did you hit a whole multiple amount of places?
Just two.
Oh,
Yellow Dog and somewhere else. I can't remember the name of it.
okay.
Yellow Dog and one other.
Cool.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't stay out there too, because she had somewhere else that she wanted to go to visit with another friend that was their birthday out in Kits. So we stayed with these friends for a bit, and then we went out there.
Oh, I see. Nice. Okay, cool. Fun. Okay, man. Well, have yourself a great week ahead. Enjoy the Monday Nighter tonight, and we'll be in touch for sure, and we'll see you a week from today.
Yeah, you betcha, man. Enjoy the concert. Have fun.
Thanks, man. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye for now. Awesome. Oh, wow. Another podcast down. So I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit shorter, I guess, than the last couple weeks. But yeah, no UFC to break down fully, just a little preview. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the weekend of sports. So many fun things to watch. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this concert tonight and the weekend sports ahead. That Monday Nighter. I have to come home late and watch it. I love PVRs. What an incredible invention. I would be lost without them. So nice that I can record so many sporting events and watch them after. I watched that Ryder Cup so early into the morning this morning, and that was fun to watch. So hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank our partners and sponsors, as always. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast, and a phenomenal force for putting our podcast on multiple podcast platforms for us. They've been a great partner. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, and industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And a V350 stick is a must-have for anyone that plays hockey that you know. Pampas and Possibilities, great at creating West Coast vibes and making your home look great and beautiful. Highly recommend them to come in and spruce up your place if you need it. And last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. You can purchase those products on our website for discounted rates, and we love them around here. Use them all the time. So take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead. We really look forward to hearing from you. And thanks so much for all the support. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.